Welcome to my corner of the internet. I want to discuss Hazel for a bit and whether Volume 8 was able to salvage his character. If you've been in the RWBY fandom for a while, you've undoubtedly heard the phrase, show don't tell. And I think Hazel's character is a reason people say it so often. When he first shows up, I know a lot of people were interested in who he was as a person. He wasn't crazy like Tyrion and Cinder, and he wasn't stuck up like Watts. Hazel was a calm and collected character who even showed signs of wanting to avoid fighting for peaceful options. He seemed to regret Adam senselessly killing Sienna, and he didn't even want to fight Ren and Nora at the end of Volume 5. And he still looked out for Emerald and Mercury whenever they were in Salem's little grim castle thing. It got people thinking, how could a character who's supposed to be a villain want to avoid killing their opposition? Then we finally get his motivations during the climax of Volume 5, which is also where people began to lose interest in Hazel as a character, myself included. We learn that Hazel's sister died while trying to become a huntress, and he blames Ozpin for putting her in dangerous situations. But everybody was confused as to why Hazel would be fine working with the Queen of Grimm if his sister was killed by the same monsters that she created. Oscar was right. Gretchen made a choice to be a huntress and unfortunately died following that path. We all know Volume 5 failed in a lot of ways, and this is just another aspect of it. We treat Volume 5 like Bruno. We don't talk about it. It seems like Hazel's story arc was supposed to be about a good man who gets taken advantage of and made to do bad things, but Volume 5 made him sound kinda stupid because there wasn't enough justification behind his actions. There wasn't any emotional connection for the viewer where I could say, I understand where he's coming from. If I was in that situation, I would do the same thing. And without that, it just seems a bit dry and empty. So then Volume 8 comes along and tries to patch things up. From events in The Whale, we know Hazel tried to kill Salem upon their first meeting, but was swayed to join Salem's crusade and describes her as this unstoppable, immortal force of nature. I think the dialogue during that interrogation was a step in the right direction for his character, but it wasn't enough for me. Even though it was good, it still felt lacking in some ways to give that emotional punch. I know many people want to see instances where Salem meets and recruits her allies, and I think this would have been the perfect time for it, especially if they were saving Cinder's first meeting for later on, and since they plan on killing Hazel this volume, it really should have happened here. I mean, how cool would it have been to see an angered, hulking Hazel just relentlessly beating Salem until he's tired and broken, only to realize she's immortal, then have her go on this rant where she convinces him that she truly is this force of nature, something that always was and always will be. How you can't get mad at her, just like you can't get mad at Mother Nature for making tornadoes, because she was made to control the Grimm. And points his anger at Ozpin because he is aware of her existence and still pushes kids to become huntsmen, knowing there's no end in sight. Being able to watch Salem mold and shape his perspective would have been a golden opportunity and have increased the overall feel Salem brings as a character. Then to come back to the present and have him work against Salem like we saw would have increased the overall emotional weight of the character, and to then watch him give his life in an attempt to make things right would have been a fitting end for his character arc. While I enjoy what they did with Hazel in Volume 8, it could have been better. Oh, and one more thing. Hazel was not redeemed for his actions in Volume 8. That one act of goodness doesn't wash away all the Mistral huntsmen he killed. It doesn't change the fact that he would have also killed Oscar just for housing Ozpin's soul. What Hazel did was atone for all his past mistakes by giving up his life to detain the evil he helped prosper. If the afterlife is still a thing, he's going to hell. Like, he ain't seeing Gretchen on the other side. Okay? Alright, so that's it. Let me know what you think of Hazel as a character, from his first appearance to his death in the comments, and I'll see y'all in the next video.